Hi guys, we are going live for a test. Check YouTube and we're going. Guys, look at the forum, come on. Hi guys, go to Guys, why aren't you grabbing out your laptops? Guys, why are you not grabbing out your laptops?
I can't actually read this.
It says hi guys, we're starting a live stream for
Oh,
a
we're
test.
starting a stream? Wow, that's pretty special.
Oh my goodness, guys, subscribe.
All right, guys. So we are starting the live streaming, and I just need these guys to be quiet because everything that they say comes through the microphone very loudly. So let's just start this off and let's get underway. So today, this is just a bit of a test. We're not trying this out for real, but until Thursday, Friday. So this is just a bit of a test. There's a bit of a delay, so I'm going to get these guys in the class to just turn their sound off because there is like about a 30-second delay. And for you people in here, I'd recommend that you just follow along the lesson just on the screen in here rather than trying to follow along on your screen because of that delay is going to be really weird. But what I would still like you to do though is in the comments on YouTube, can you just say your name so that I know who's online? And you guys as well, because you guys can test out this chat feature and see if it on the live. Should do that. It should come out in the chat. Awesome. So it's coming up now. So I'm getting, yep, Emma's online. Hi, Emma. Celine's online as well. Anna's here. Gennaro's here. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. So today we're going to get straight into it. We're going to look at simple interest. And I don't know if it's coming up on the screen or not. Yep, there it is. And I'm going to make this bigger as well. Flick between the chapters. Those of you who are online at home, you know who you are. I just wanted you to write in the chat if you can hear Yanku talking right now.
10 minutes later, I can hear it.
So where are we going?
What?
On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Seth, you don't need to slam your name 3 times.
Emma says this is so weird because I can hear everyone else's voices online.
That's all I heard.
I think Emma's already answered that question. All right, whoever's got their sound on in here, just turn it off, please, so we can get started with what we're doing today. Yeah, Emma's on.
Shout out to Emma.
Guys, this is not going to work if you just keep doing this. Let's do some learning. All right, so we're going to learn about simple interest today. And this keeps flickering on my screen, but hopefully it's going all right online. So today, this exercise is not actually in your Year 8 textbooks at the moment. It was in the older version of the textbooks. It's to do with simple interest. And what I've decided to do is I've uploaded this onto OneNote. And I'm just going to talk about it today. It's not a particularly difficult concept, but it's something that we need to know how to do. All right, so simple interest, it keeps flickering on the screen. Before we talk about this actual concept, let's talk about interest as a whole. And interest is what you might see at banks and things like that. There's two forms of interest. One is when you are saving money and you put your money into a bank and the bank decides to keep your money for a bit and reward you and give you a little bit of money back called interest over a period of time. The other form of interest is where you deal with loans and you're loaning money, and the banks kind of say, well, you've got to pay back that money plus a bit more, plus some extra money. And that extra money you have to pay back is called interest. The banks, what they use is a method called compound interest, and we'll talk about that in the next couple of days. But today we'll just introduce this idea called simple interest. So with all money applications, there's a formula, there's a way to work the amount of interest out, okay? So I'm just going to jump down to where we've got some space. I'm just going to go up a little bit. It's a bit slow, a bit laggy, but that's okay. All right, so in the notes, I'm just going to write over here that simple interest, this is very laggy, is equal to PRT. Like having a party, but it's not really a party, it's just PRT. And so each of these things here, so if you want to write notes, you can, but you can just watch as well. So each of these letters represents something, okay? Yes, Layla?
Why is it PRT?
I'm going to explain what each of these things mean. So SI stands for simple interest, and simple interest is like what I was talking about before. So if you were to deposit your money in a bank and the bank decides to give you a little bit of interest as a bit of a reward for having the money with them, that's how much is going to be calculated. So simple interest. The P stands for principal. So P stands for principal, and that's really weird how it comes up on my screen, but that's okay. Principal is the amount of money that you have in a loan or in your bank that you're depositing or something like that. So think of the principal as dollars, okay? So if you get a question that talks about, so-and-so deposits $100 in their bank, that's the principal, $100. Okay, R stands for the interest rate, because different banks and different credit cards and different places will charge a different percentage, and this is an interest rate percentage. So whenever you get a question, it will often say the interest is 5% per annum, which basically means 5% per year or something like that, okay? And the last thing in that formula is T, and T stands for time. And normally it's to do with years, but sometimes if the question's dealing with like a monthly interest rate and it might be talking about months and things in the question, then we can use that value for the time as well. So all we do to work out the amount of interest that we get, or if the amount of interest that we have to pay on a loan, is multiply these things together. So principal multiplied by the interest rate multiplied by the time, okay? Now with the interest rate, I must say you have to convert the interest rate from a percentage to a decimal, or if you want, you can just use your percent sign on your calculators and that works as well. Okay, so let's have a look at this example, and I do apologize for the lagginess. Hopefully our internet connection at school will get better as less people are here on Thursday and Friday this week. But yeah, Annie's got a question.
So the P times R times T equals simple interest.
Yeah, so that's how much interest is, so that's how much interest is calculated. Okay, so let's have a look at this example 21 here in the older version of the textbook. So it says Cynthia deposits $3,500 in a bank for 3 years, and the bank pays her simple interest at a rate of 5.25% per annum. Per annum just means per year. And how much interest does she receive? So we're asked to work out the simple interest, and this 3,500, well, that's going to be the principal. That's our P. 3 years, that's sounds a lot like time to me. That's our time. And this thing here is our interest rate, our R. So we're just going to multiply those together, and we can do this on our calculators. So you're just going to go 3,500, and then you go times the interest rate. So you can do this two ways. You can do this conversion in your heads, and you can say 5.25% is the same as 0.05, Now that's 5%. If I was to go 5 1/4, it would be another 2.5 after it. Good? Zoom out a bit. So 2.5. Whoa, that's going to be bad. This lagginess is not good. Okay, here we go. 2.5. And then, so that's the principal times the rate, interest rate. And then the last thing we're going to multiply is the time. Okay, so that's times by 3 years. So if you can do that on your calculator, you should get an answer of... Deposit means putting money into the bank, like giving the money to the bank and letting the bank look after the money for you. So 3,500 times 0.0525 times 3. And my calculator says $551.25. So this is saying that Cynthia gave the bank $3,500. After 3 years, the bank has rewarded Cynthia for her money and saying, Cynthia, you can have an extra $551.25. We're going to give this to you as a bonus. So now, after 3 years, Cynthia is going to have $3,500 plus the interest that she just earned from the bank. So Cynthia would now have, after 3 years, she would have $3,500 plus $551.25, which is going to be $4,051.25 in her bank account, providing that Cynthia does not withdraw any money from her bank account. If she just kept that $3,500 in her bank without taking any money out, that interest will get added on. After 3 years, she would have $4,051.25 in her account. So that's good. The money's growing. But most of the time with interest, we deal with it in terms of like a negative thing. In terms of you pay a loan or you've got a credit card and the bank's saying, all right, here's the money. You can buy something now, or you can buy a house now, or you can buy a car now, but we want you to pay that money back plus a lot more. And they'll charge interest at a certain percentage that you have to pay either a monthly amount to repay it or something like that to repay it. You always want to choose a bank which has the lowest interest rate, because that way you're not having to pay back as much. That's right. But when you're depositing money, when you're saving money, you want a bank that's got a high interest rate so that the amount of money grows faster, like it's going to be more beneficial for you. It's all about the interest rate.
I know in essence for some savings accounts, say they give you a rate of 1.1 or something, then don't you, if for the month, if you don't take anything out of the savings, then you get that rate. But if you take money from it, don't you lose that rate?
Yeah, so some banks are very sneaky. So the question is, so if you have a certain bank and the idea being if you take money out of your bank or withdraw money, then you don't get the bonus interest, and that applies. I've got some accounts that my kids use, some bank accounts that my kids use, and that applies to them. So the idea being the banks want us to not take the money out of those accounts so that the interest builds and it does actually calculate. It's just sort of like a sneaky trick that they employ. All right, so let's just have a look at the screen now. And we've got exercise 7D. This is the exercise questions that I want you to do. In a minute, I'll write down which ones I want you to do. But I'm just going to pick out a certain few of these things and try out working them out. So the first one I'm going to do is, let's look at question 3B. So 3B, this one right here. It says $250,000 is invested. Invested is another way of depositing or giving money to the bank at 6% per annum simple interest. The word simple interest means we're going to have to use the simple interest formula that I showed you, and per annum means per year, okay? So 6% every year, per year. Find the amount of the investment at the end of 2 years. All right, so this has got 2 stages. We are wanting to work out the amount of interest and then add that on to the principal. Okay, so let's write down what we've got here. The principal is $250,000. That's the amount of money that we are giving to the bank for this one. It's a lot of money. The interest rate is 6%. So R is 6%. Okay? Next up, the time in this question is part B. Time is 2 years. 2 years. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to work out the amount of interest that is earned on this investment, and then we are going to add it on to the principal, and that's how much the investment is going to be worth at the end of 2 years. Okay, so let's do that. 2 steps. First bit, simple interest. To work that out, we're going to multiply all these values together. So 250,000, 6% in 2 years. This time I'm going to show you a slightly different trick to do this. So I'm going to say simple interest is equal to 250,000 times, rather than converting 6% to a decimal, which you can all do, I'm sure you can do it very easily, it's 0.06, but rather than doing that in your calculator, I want you to try this. Go times 6 and use the percent symbol. So on my calculator, to get the percent symbol again, it is shift open bracket, and then times by 2. So that way we are just applying the formula. So 250,000 times 6% times 2, and let's see what we get. 250,000 times 6% times by 2, and I got $30,000.
Wait, times by that 6%, isn't that the same as $250,000 times?
0.06, that's right. Yep, you could do it that way as well. So what we're saying is we've got a principal now of, a principal of 250,000 and an interest of 30,000 that gets added onto that. So the amount that the investment is worth at the end of 2 years is going to be these two things added together. So the investment is going to be worth 250,000 plus the 30,000 interest. And that would be 280,000. Like that. Okay? Okay, Layla's got a question?
So when you say 6%, so do you firstly have to work out 6% of 250,000, and then you times that by 2?
Yeah, so we're working out the simple interest first. So we're working out the simple interest, and then we're adding it onto the principal, adding it onto that initial amount that was invested. And then that total, this thing, the 280,000, is how much the investment is worth at the end. That's the answer to the problem. Make it green. So loans and things? Yeah, so let's see if there's a loan question. They're all investment ones at the moment. Just going to scroll up. Nope, that's it for this particular exercise. These are all investment questions, but I can make one up. Let's just do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this screen go smaller because I don't know why it's lagging so much. So I'm just going to do another example, and the example I'm just going to make one up, okay? It's never this laggy.
They're like 20 seconds behind, aren't they?
About that.
I said lag. The lag.
So how do you... how does he make this thing go up here?
It's a special part of being...
If this is like this on Thursday, I don't know how this is going to be able to be maintained. Yeah, I'll try and do a better job of keeping an eye on the chat things over here, because there's some stuff over there. No, with YouTube, these videos will get stored online and you can watch them later. With Zoom, you can't do that. Can't do that. Zoom's going to be even, like, the more streaming you do, it's just going to be laggy as anything. That's right. You could potentially watch it later, but we do want people to log in during the double lessons and say that they're watching, or say that they're there, so that I can do the role. Anyway, last example, guys. I'm going to mix things up a little bit. Say you've got a loan, and the loan is for a car, and the car is worth $25,000. And say the time of the loan is, let's say the time of the loan is 5 years. It's about a stock standard car loan time period. And say that the amount of simple interest on this loan is, say, let's go with $7,500. What is the interest rate percentage?
Oh, how would you know that now? Oh, I figured it out. Isn't it 10%?
I'm so confused. What is going
It's 10%. Guys, did I figure it out?
Okay, you ready?
I'm the bank.
Looking at the screen, guys. Shh. So here's our simple interest formula, our equation. And all I'm going to do, year 8s in the class, you guys need to be quiet because it's coming through the speakers quite loud, even right now. What we're going to do is, out of this bit of information, we're going to put the information, the clues from here, into our formula. And the bit we're trying to work out in this one is the R, the interest rate. That's the bit that we're trying to work out. So all these other bits, all these other numbers, we can put into this equation, and we're going to solve this equation for the interest rate. So the simple interest, well, that's just 7,500. That's what this is. So 7,500 equals, and then P is the loan, this amount, $25,000. So $25,000. The interest, extra zero. That's what happens when it lags. The interest rate, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to go times by R. And then the time is 5 years. So I'm going to write 5 there. So everything in my equation, I've locked it in except for the interest rate. That's the bit I don't know what it is. That's the bit I'm trying to work out. So I have to solve this equation. And the way I'm going to solve it is I'm going to do a bit of algebraic rearranging. So R is going to equal the 7,500 over here divided by the 25,000 and the 5. Okay, so R is going to equal 7,500 divided by the 25,000 times the 5. So just got to be careful that we do the 25,000 times 5 on the bottom of our fraction to when we're working out the interest rate. So let's just do that on our calculators. So if we get our calculators out now and go 7,500 divided by 25,000 times by 5. As a decimal, what is the number that you get? So if you've done this on your calculator, the decimal number should be 0.06, which means 6%. Yeah, good.
Is that how much I could pay after a year?
So this means that on a loan of $25,000, we would have to pay back $7,500 simple interest if the banks charge 6% as their interest rate. That's what that means. So I would have to, the last part of the question would be, how much money would you have to repay the bank? So the amount of money that you have to repay from this loan would be the 25,000 that you have to start with, plus the 7,500 interest. So the total money you have to pay back. Say you bought a car and it was a $25,000 car, but because you loaned the money, you've got to pay back that $25,000 plus this extra interest. So the total amount you've got to pay back is $32,500. That way the bank gets some extra money because they lent you the money, and so, but you kind of get the car, so everyone's kind of happy, and people have been doing loans and things for many years now, and that's just the way it is. Yes, Layla?
So why would you do 2,500 times 5? Wouldn't you, as in divide the 2,500 first from 750 and then times that answer?
Yep, so I'll just show you what I'm doing. So in algebra, if I'm trying to work out the R value, I'm going to do the same thing to both sides. And what I'm going to do on the right-hand side is I'm going to divide the right-hand side by 25,000 sorry, not 5, times by 5. That way, that will cancel out that 5 will cancel out, and I'll get left with just the R. But whatever I do to the right-hand side, I must also do to the left-hand side to keep things balanced. Times 5. And so, because those things on the right-hand side cancel each other out, you've got the interest rate. That's the bit you're trying to work out, and you do the division over here like that. And you must put the times 5 on the bottom of your fraction, otherwise it's not going to give you the right answer.
And then you repay the $2,500 plus the interest rate.
That's right. You repay the 25,000 plus the 7,500.
Oh, so they tell you that that's the interest.
Yeah. So in this particular question, I just made it up. Just took it on the spot and just did that. Okay. The questions I want you to do. Let's go back to here, and I'm going to write down the questions I want you to do because there's a bit of lagginess still. Okay. So there's 7 questions on this page. All these ones mainly deal with an investment, which is okay. This is just like when you give money to the bank and the money grows. Let's work out, maybe if I highlight the ones, that'll be good to do. So let's do question number 1, B, and let's go E, and then 2, B, and E. We've already done 3B. Let's go 4B, and then 5, like that. I've ruined the pattern, but that's okay. There we go. So they're the questions I want you to do, the highlighted ones. And I'll stay online for a little bit longer, and I'm going to read through the comments now because I've been a bit distracted with other people in here, but that's okay. This is the way things are. And I'll see if I can scroll up in here or not. I can scroll up. That's cool. All right, so I'm going to go back to the very beginning and go through this thing and see who's been behaving themselves. All right, so got Gennaro. So the rest of you that are in here, you guys can just go on the OneNote and start working through these questions. And I've also attached the answers as well, like at the bottom, so you can check them out as well. Yes, Layla, got another question?
So on Wednesday we have the temple briefing.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have to log on to
No.
the live stream?
Nope. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm not doing any streaming whatsoever. So the streaming starts Thursday.
Like school?
No, there's no school. It's a pupil-free day tomorrow.
But it's a holiday day.
Yeah, so no classes at all tomorrow. Thursday, I will do a special single period stream, but normally for the double periods I'll be streaming. So for you guys, it's for Monday afternoons and Wednesday for our double lessons. That's when I'll be streaming, but I'm just going to do a stream on Thursday to give you some work to do and talk about compound interest. So that way you're not trying to learn compound interest yourself. So I'm doing a special stream on Thursday. And then starting next week, it'll be Mondays and Wednesdays. Every double lesson we have maths. I need you to log online and participate. Yeah?
Miraculous ladybug wasn't there. She said I had it.
Oh yes, Mr. Wager, can we do our bank skip? Because we were explaining to Matt, and we have a really good way of doing it. We have a skip that explains it.
These guys have a skit and they want to explain it to you guys. I'm going to let them do it. But it's going to be a little bit weird because, like, they're over there and I don't know.
Mr. Wager.
Where are you looking to?
I'm looking at I've got a secondary screen over here. It's just got like all the YouTube comments
he's
and
like a
things.
gamer, you know?
I told you. My dad is one of those.
He's like,
Maybe if you guys just do your skit and I will try and I don't know how I'm going to manipulate this screen to get the camera. Oh yeah, let's do that. Hold on. Let me just try something on here. Still so laggy.
Oh, yes. We need a
All right, so I'm going to go.
Mr. Wage is going to give us a question. Mr. Wage is going to give us a question.
So I'm really new to this, and it's all a bit weird. So if I was to go,
Miraculous Ladybug. That's Leo.
Emma said, oh dear, here we go.
nah, it's the way I've set it up. I can't flick the screen, like the camera around to the front that easily. So I'm just going to hold it up like this, and I'm all plugged in remotely.
Okay. So, wait, what question are we? Wait,
Okay.
which
Are we
one
just
didn't
explaining
they get?
interest?
Wait, does anyone know which question Leah didn't get? Was it the loan?
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're explaining interest.
Are we gonna?
Oh, no.
Okay, so basically, what you need to do is the simple interest equals P times R times T, which is the principal, the rate, and the time all times together. So what you do? So say your question is What was the question again?
Okay.
Wasn't it as in Cynthia had $2,500? No, that was not.
Okay. So,
Wait, what's the question? Yeah.
give us a question. Okay, no, we're not going to restart.
I'll see if I can get it on the screen. There we go.
Okay, thank you. So, basically, Cynthia deposits $3,500 into the bank for 3 years, and she pays. Yeah, so basically, I put $3,500 into the bank.
And I'm
Youngie's
the bank.
right?
I'm the bank.
So that's for 3 years, and the bank pays me simple interest at a rate of 5.25% per annum. I don't know how to pronounce that. So basically, that's as
per year.
Per year, and
Per
then
annum
per
is
year.
per year.
So basically, how much do I receive? So, how much I receive is I do. No, this is amazing. So you times. Since for simple interest to find it, you do P times T times R. Be quiet. I'm busy talking to them, Daniel. Anyway, so you times P times R times R times T. So basically, the P, which is principal, is the $3,500. That's the
Principal equals amount of money.
Yeah. Then you have the time, which is obviously 3 years, and then you have your rate, which is the 5.25%.
Which is as a percentage, which is 0.0525, which we'll get onto later.
Exactly.
We'll get on to it.
Anyway, so basically, you times that together, so it's going to be 3,500 times 3 times 0.0525,
Or just 5.25%.
which is 5.25% in decimals. So you times that together, and you get 551.25. So to find out how much interest she receives, you get that. Was that the answer for how much interest she
that's
receives?
how much interest you should receive.
Yeah.
But in total, you have to add those two numbers together.
Yeah. So
You have to
in
add
total,
it. You have to add the interest rate
Guys, calm down.
to the amount you started with, which you gave in, which was 3,500.
and you add the interest rate. Because basically, I give Yanku $3,500, and then he gives me the simple interest, right?
Okay,
So then he puts it into your bank. Then you still have that 3,500. It still belongs to
Exactly.
you.
It's still mine.
So
I
that,
just gave it to
so
him.
that rate adds
money,
to
but he
that.
puts it into your bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and then
then
he
the
gets
simple interest is the 500 and whatever. So he puts that into my bank account.
So it adds on to
And
the
then
3,500.
this is the extra 500, 551.
So
and
in
I add this
total,
back.
I have 4,051 and 25 cents. So that is that one, and then for the loans. So basically, in this one, you have to
We're almost
find
out
out.
of time.
Yeah, we're out of time. But you guys have done a good job.
Okay, thank you.
What we'll do is normally for our lessons, I'll stay online for a bit longer and answer questions that are on the chat. There's been a lot of other random stuff being said by people as well, and we need to get better at just writing down stuff that's relevant to what we're learning in the lesson rather than talking about other things. All right, so that's it for our live stream for this particular lesson. And as I mentioned, the questions I would like for you to practice are the ones that I've highlighted in the notes, the green ones, even though we've done that one already. But that's it for us. Until next time, thanks very much, guys, and I'll probably catch you on Thursday.